I'm Ellen the Crazy Crafty Lady, here with another amazing video. Thought we could maybe sew and chat a little bit again, and maybe make this really cool, fun little zipper pouch. I have some really awesome musical fabric, outer layer with the piano keys, inner layer with the musical notes. Also have a really fun zipper, nice yellow zipper. Got some fun things for when the pouch is finished, little musical note to pin on it. Just something to make it look cool and fun. Got a little thing for the zipper pull to put on the zipper. Little keychain thing. Little piano keys with some fancy stuff. So I thought we would just sew and chat, make this cool little zipper pouch. These are the the outer pieces, and these are the lining pieces. So let's move this out of the way for a minute, and we will put this together. This is how we want to start this. We have our awesome seam tape, which I love more than anything. And we are going to attach it to our awesome zipper. But first we're going to put it here on our lining piece, right along the edge. Close as you can to the edge if you can. Get it there. And just kind of, my scissors. Doesn't matter if you leave a little bit off of the edges. Just kind of press it a bit. Sometimes it doesn't want to peel up. But we can, yep, it's not peeling up yet. Let me push this down here. Move my stuff out of the way. There we go, peels up. Now we take our awesome zipper and we stick it on there. Like that. Just kind of get it in place enough to seam tape is very sticky. Just kind of go across. This is the best. You can use pins or you can use these awesome little clips. But seam tape to me is the best. Now we want to take one of our outer layer pieces. First we're going to line our zipper on top with another line of seam tape. Seam tape is awesome. I only buy it from the Sailrite company. I order it when I get low, and I buy it because they have the best seam tape ever. It's awesome. You can find them online if you want to look them up. Sailrite company. They are the best for seam tape. And then what we want to do with our outer layer piece is flip that upside down and give it a pressing across the thing where the seam tape is. And you can always do a little bit of trimming later if it's necessary. And then what we want to do is take this to our sewing machine. Sorry, I'm my own cameraman nowadays. As like I said last time, I'm still my own cameraman. So I have to do this, all the movements myself. And if you can see that, I put my zipper foot on because it's going to be much better And I also put my needle position on the number 4 because it takes it to the edge, which makes it a lot easier to sew it down. So we're going to put that on there. Hold this back button so I don't forget to do it. Go back and forth a couple of times. Nice thing about the zipper foot is it's easier on sewing things like zippers. Sometimes I use it for blanket edgings and other stuff too, because the zipper foot just seems, it's small and it gets in there where you need it to. Sometimes I go slow when I get toward the other side. And then I get faster and I get to the edge. Backwards a couple times. And then if you see down here anywhere, got my awesome automatic thread cutter, which is really amazing. Just put your foot on it and cut. Now what we want to do is come back here, open that up, and now we have our zipper going in the opposite direction, which is really awesome. And then what we want to do is take our leather lining piece, put that face up on our table after we put another little piece of seam tape going across. It's really awesome. The seam tape is my best friend. Always has been since I discovered it. I'm sure other people have discovered this before me. Okay, and then what we want to do is, sometimes it doesn't want to peel upright, but sometimes it does. There we go. Awesome. Then we want to take our other piece here, line that up to that. Sometimes you got to watch your fingers, they'll get stuck to it, and you'll have to sit there and pull and yank and get it unstuck, and it's just really, really a fun thing. Not always. Now we're going to put it like this. Now what we want to do is put the seam tape across the zipper again. Like that. All the way to the other end. Just enough to hold everything in place. There's the seam tape thing there. And then we'll just give it a good pressing. And then pull it off. Voila. This is our other outer piece. And we want to put that face down again. Line it up nicely. And put it on this other side of the zipper. Really cool and awesome. Let me just peel that a minute and kind of edge this better over on the other end here. Sometimes you got to carefully take it up, or sometimes it comes up okay by itself. And then just kind of re-stick it down, just so that both ends are fairly even. Now we'll go back to the sewing machine and we'll sew it down on this end, other end. Okay, this is what we want to do. Line it up on the end here. I just keep forgetting this has the automatic up and down. And then we want to just get her going. And just sew across. Super fun and easy, quick pouch. Get to the end slower. Back stitch a couple of times. Use our automatic thread cutter. Now what we want to do is take this and just kind of give it a little tug like that. We are going to take this to the ironing board. Some of my other sewing machines and my doodads and my little pink toolboxes, which I love. Now we're going to go over here to the ironing board. And set this up for a second or two. Now what we want to do is we want to open this, kind of press it open a little bit. Like that, flip it. Give it a little opening press. And then we want to give it an iron. Probably not hot. Again, my iron kind of cooled down. But we're just going to iron the edges, a little bit of this. Kind of get it going. Flip it. I got an awesome, badass Auric iron. And it heats up quickly. Now what we want to do is take this to our machine and do a top stitch along here on these edges, but on the outer side. Do a top stitch and it will give it a nice pretty finish. So now we'll come back to the machine. And we will give this awesome thing a nice top stitch. Don't matter what side you do first, just as long as you kind of get it on the edge. Let me, yeah, let's go here first. Because it seems like it's, there we go. Back stitch a little bit. Back stitch a couple of times. Looks really nice. Other side. Just give it a little just sew across. Get to the end. Do a couple of back stitches. Cut it off. Now we got this really nice looking little top stitch on it. Looks pretty nifty. You can trim all your little threads if you want, or they'll hide in sometimes. Sometimes I just take my little embroidery scissors, trim them off, trim that off too. And we are ready to go back to the table. Take our this and our this over to the table. And then now what we want to do next is we want to take our two ends. At this point, you have to unzip the pouch. You don't have to all the way, enough to where you can sew it together and still turn it inside out. That can be really, really just no fun. And the piano notes, musical notes, are the inside, the lining. So you want to make sure that your zippers turned towards the lining. Sometimes that's a little hard to get it to do it. And then you can just start your clips on the zipper part so that it holds it in place while you're pinning the rest of it, so that you do not have any issues with it moving or things like that. These clips are the best for edges like this. Just anything with zippers, you can pin or clip or however you're comfortable, but I only use these for edges of stuff and things like that. All right, good thing I picked that up. Okay, that. And then kind of try to, takes a minute sometimes just to kind of line everything up. And then you can just go around, pin all your stuff, or clips, whatever you prefer. I love the clips. They're the best. Sometimes you want to flip it too and make sure your backside is lined up. Because if it's not, then it's not good when you sew it. And if you got just little bits of, tiny bits of hangover, you can trim that off. So it's not that big of a deal, but you don't want to get a whole bunch, because then you can't trim it off, you can't save it, you have to start over kind of deal. And then on the side where you're going to leave the opening for flipping, which is always the lining, has to be the lining side. You want that opening in the middle. Some people make certain bags that where you leave a spot on the side. And you don't need a real big, just enough your hand fits in, like this. So that it's not a big seam later in the end. And then you just carry on with pinning. Now, there is like just this little bit of tiny hangovers, but sometimes I don't always cut my pieces very even either. So I have to deal with that later. And then sometimes the other side gets a little wonky. But you can trim some things after you get them sewn together, and you can trim off the little wonky spots. Things like that. And it usually turns out okay. Now, I've had projects that in my earlier days of sewing that did not turn out. But you live and learn, and you start again, and you eventually, it works. You figure out, you know, what you're doing wrong and stuff like that, and you just watch a lot of demonstrations and stuff like that. And there we go. We are pinned together and ready for the sewing machine once again. And we want to start our edging here and go work our way around. And there we have that. Let's go to the sewing machine. Let's go to our machine. Let's start. On this end. I should have just came down here and take a clip off and measure it to our end. And you can just put your zipper foot right at the edge, because that's okay too. And then we'll give it a little bit of back stitching. And then we'll just carefully lift and pivot and move a clip down a hair. And then we'll move that clip. Move this one down because we're right toward where the zipper's at, and sometimes it still wants to play a little bit and move where it shouldn't. All right, now we can remove that. Now what we want to do here is we want to go over this zipper section back and forth a few times. And then sometimes you want to just move a clip down. I like sewing around with the small zipper feet on these. Sometimes I put the regular foot on it if it's a bigger bag, but I think the zipper foot works great for these smaller pouches. A little small pivot. Perfect. Sometimes you just got to take a minute and don't want to really rush it too much. You want it to look really nice. If you rush it too much, sometimes you get seams that are a little wonky or crooked, and then it doesn't look as nice as it could. Turn it down there a little bit, take it out. Sometimes my needle's still moving when I pull it out. itself. Sometimes you gotta kind of tuck a piece in a little bit, and then just kind of. And we're gonna put that clip right down there a little bit because we are at the other end of the zipper thing. Back stitch over a couple of times. And then we'll carry on. And then just, sometimes you want to put that at the end. It's starting to pull away a little bit. Or you can take it off and fix it and then carry on. Trying to get it to one stitch deal. Now this is a little over, so we'll just kind of do a clipping of that. And now we take the last clip off, yay. Do a back stitch. And then cut that. And what we want to do is we can do that right here too, is you want to clip all your corners like that, and just throw them down somewhere and clean them up later. That's what I sometimes do. Clip the corners, clip the corner here. And our final corner clipped off. Now what we want to do is go back to our sewing table, our cutting board actually. And let's make sure I got this positioned right. And then you can just kind of go around and see if it needs any kind of trimming or clipping. And so far everything looks great on that side, and this side isn't bad either. So now what we want to do is take our this, and we want to flip it inside out. Sometimes you can open the zipper a little more, helps. We want to do this. Pull our outer piece out. Now this is sometimes where you want to put your fingers in there in the corners. My big screwdriver, I love it. It's super long, and I use it for all my corners. But these little ones, you don't have to really do that too much. And then we'll poke our ends out here. Sometimes my ends don't look the best, but this one seems to look pretty darn okay. Maybe I need that screwdriver. Maybe I don't. Okay. Now we'll go on this side and push any corners out and fix our top right there. It looks pretty darn even. A little bit off, but it's not too bad. Now what we want to do is we don't want these corners really poked out this way, but enough to get this where your little opening, it usually automatically goes back over, folds over to the inside, which is great. And then we can take this back to the sewing machine. Put this up here again. I guess. And then we'll just give it a little stitching. It'll be kind of white, but it's on the inside, so nobody's going to really see that too much. And then you can do it as close to the edge without it going off. Give it a little stitching, back stitching. And the zipper foot's nice because it helps you see where the end is too. Okay, little back stitching. Cut it off. Looks great. Do a little trimming on either ends. Sweet. Now we'll go back here to the table. And we'll give it our final touches, which is pushing the lining in. Doesn't have to totally be perfect, but we'll push that lining in. Now we have our lining in. Looks fantastic. Looks great. Now we'll give it a final touch, which is our little piano. Open that little hook on it, which is fantastic. Hang that on there like that. Then we can open this awesome musical note pin. And we could probably stick that somewhere along on this side. Or actually, let's see. Yeah, let's go over here because this is a little bit, sometimes you can hide some of your little spots too. And just stick the pin in. It might not be perfectly straight, but that's okay too. The pin in, turn it, close it. Let's see. Let's go over a hair. Yep, just a little bit. You can also take these to the ironing board and give them a pressing if you wish. Whatever you want to do. Sometimes the lining gets in my way. Just kind of sticks in. There we go. Let's see. Close that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Looks very cute. Got a nice, awesome inside. Got a nice, awesome little zipper on it with a piano pull. Very cute. Awesome little zipper pouch. And there you have it, folks. It's the cutest little thing. And thanks for watching my video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.